What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is August 28th of 2017. So if you've been keeping up with recent cryptocurrency news, you probably know by now that the topic that has swamped the headlines is no other than the topic of privacy. We've been talking about it for quite some time on my channel, that privacy was going to become a much more relevant topic in cryptocurrency markets. Not to mention, on a fundamental sense, it was one of the reasons that Bitcoin got adopted in the first place. Cryptocurrencies wouldn't be what they are today without that sense and feeling of a little bit of anonymity and privacy. However, we're starting to realize that Bitcoin and a lot of major competitors really aren't anonymous in any sense, and transactions are easily traceable. So with that fear coming back into markets and that realization coming into fruition, a lot of people are starting to look towards alternatives in the cryptocurrency space that are competing to take that market on head on and really become the solution for those who are looking to make private transactions. So what are those winners? Well, I spent some time diving in and researching, and I tried to find the top 5 cryptocurrencies for private transactions. And I wanted to share them all with you because I know it's a hot topic right now. So, what are those coins? Which ones do I think fundamentally are standing out in the sense of their tech and their unique selling propositions? Let's go ahead and jump into the analysis and start talking about them. The first one, though they're in no specific order, is Zcash. I want to talk about Zcash because Zcash has been doing pretty well. It's maintained itself very well in the sense of technicals since the altcoin bubble, and its valuation is almost tethering back towards its highs. So, a definite looking winner right here in the sense of valuation, and it has a very stellar uptick in price recently. We can see that they have a very nice valuation to where I'd feel safe in the sense of investing, and I still see room to grow and possibly see this at a more than billion-dollar valuation so long as it continues to get adopted. The volume is very stellar as well, but the biggest selling point in the sense of kind of technical numbers is its circulating supply. I love the fact that it has a very low supply for such a long history here. We've been going back, if we go all the way back here to November in 2016, the fact that there's only 2 million units created shows that this has a very low creation rate. So definitely interesting in the sense of supply. So if we go here to Zcash's website, they talk about being pretty much the privacy, the private version of internet money. And the biggest thing that they mention is shielded transactions. Okay, this is how you can keep your transactions private. What exactly is a shielded transaction? I don't want to just leave you off there. It's a very fancy term, but I think we can get in the sense that it's aiming for privacy. So if we go over to the tech side of it, we can learn that Zcash uses a certain, it's called a zero-knowledge proof construction called ZK Snark. Now, we talked about this recently on my Ethereum fork video about how Ethereum is actually starting to utilize ZK Snark. ZK Snark is a technology that is used to encrypt in the sense of sending transactions. So encrypt certain transactions that two parties are sending between each other. Now what's nice about Zcash is you don't always have to just send encrypted transactions. You can do normal transparent input and outputs, and you can also do shielded inputs and outputs between individuals. So it's just a nice selling point. The fact that they use ZK Snark makes me completely confident that it's safe to use Zcash, and you can see why it has such a big selling point. It seems like they're well at branding themselves along with the sense of privacy. So long as adoption continues, Zcash could really be a good candidate for the long term, in my opinion. Next up, we have Pivx. I just did a video recently on Pivx, and not to mention, I actually got to sit down and talk with someone who's worked at the Pivx team on my Discord for my live stream the other night. And it seems like the Pivx project is really trying to make itself stand out. We can see that comparative to Zcash, the market cap is a lot smaller, so a lot more room for growth in my opinion. The volume is relatively consistent as well over the past 24 hours. The circulating supply as well is nothing ridiculous, and definitely at a nice creation rate. We've talked about how it's created through a mix of proof of stake and masternodes. So it's proof of stake 2.0 as Pivx calls it. We can see that Pivx has definitely got a definite uptrend we're seeing here. It's just been nice in the sense of USD. If we take off the Bitcoin chart, it's been a nice steady uptrend in the sense of valuation and has hit all new highs in the sense of market cap. So very good job in the sense of uptrend for Pivx, and I'm actually currently holding a position in Pivx. Its Bitcoin comparative is very low though, so we might be able to see some really nice upside if we get a Bitcoin pullback, and also if Pivx can continue to be a leading candidate in the privacy space. But in the sense of Pivx, what is really making it stand out in the sense of its features? The big thing that really makes it stand out is obfuscation. Now, I could try to go into intense details on it, but basically obfuscation is the main feature that they use to guarantee privacy for Pivx. I did a video talking about Pivx more in depth. If you want to learn more about it, definitely go check out that video. I think Pivx is definitely a leader in this market. But there's all kinds of really cool, unique selling propositions that sell it not only on its privacy in the sense of making relatively anonymous transactions, but along with that, how it's created, as I said, proof of stake 2.0. I think that's very important to understand that though you might have a really secure and private coin, at the same time, you want to make sure you have a system where how it's created is profitable in the long term in the sense of an investment. So there's not too much coming into creation. And I think Pivx really is a good selling point in that sense. But definitely a leader in the privacy space. So I recommend you going to check out the website to read more if you're interested. Next one I want to talk about is Manero. We've been hearing about Manero in the headlines a lot, and it has gained a lot of valuation over the past 2 weeks or so. The reason why Manero has jumped up recently is because it's gone on to South Korean exchanges. However, it is nonetheless a very respected privacy coin, and we can see that the volume is there as well. And it's limited, or not limited, but circulating supply is very low as well. 15 million is a very nice number. Interesting enough to see that with a lot of the privacy coins, we find this very low supply as well. So if we go down here, Monero, as you can see, has spiked recently. It has had a massive run up. Now, the question is, would I invest at these levels? Probably not, unless you were investing for the next 5 to 10 years. But I will say this, as much as I think there's been a little bit of overt optimism, I really do see why people are optimistic on it. Manero is a very unique has a very unique selling proposition comparative to most privacy coins. It's not only been around for a long time, so keyword adoption, but if we go here to the getting started and go towards what is Manero, it talks a little bit about its security and the encryption that's tied with it. So all transactions for Manero are completely confidential and untraceable. So as for now, you can see that they've got already a guaranteed sense of privacy. You can be completely flexible and free of using it, but they're not stopping it where they are right now in the sense of encryption and security. They're currently working on implementing the Covery project. Now, this is something that hasn't been implemented yet, but is using I2P, which is the Invisible Internet Project. We can go here to get a little more details on it if you want to read a little bit more, but basically it's what's used a lot in the sense of the Tor browser and used on the deep web as well for complete privacy. Now, I think that this is a really big selling point in the sense of its encryption and security. So if you're really looking for that, I think Manero has a big selling point in the sense of going into the future. But for now, it works. It's been making private transactions that are untraceable. And I think that they've got not only that, but they've got a wonderful amount of developers, over 240 developers who have contributed to the project so far. So I think that that's awesome. And in the sense they've got 30 core developers working consistently is very nice as well. So definitely a big candidate out there, and I can see why it's been gaining a lot of the traction that it has. However, on a technical sense, I'd wait for a pullback. Next up, we are going to talk about Verge. Now, I've done a video on Verge, and I think it is one of the most undervalued privacy coins out there right now, okay? I think Verge, due to its very large supply, gets a lot of flack. Now, I always tell you all, as much as limited supplies are nice, limited supply coins can get a lot of benefits because there can be a lot of, in a sense, sometimes a little bit of generated FOMO from large-scale investors to get in on it. The thing about Verge, though, is just because it has a large amount of supply doesn't make it, not worth anything. Its valuation is low, not because of its price, but because of its valuation, its market cap. And we can see here that it's sitting under 50 million, even after upticking recently. So I think that this is a definite candidate to watch. And look at the volume, folks, for comparative to its market cap, more than 20% of the volume. So this is, 20% of the valuation, my bad. But definitely the sense of circulating supply almost reaching its max supply. This is definitely a candidate to watch. And they've got a massive development team. So I definitely would keep an eye on Verge. I made a swing trade on Verge, but I'm definitely thinking about making a long-term buy here because they really are one of the premier solutions for users of Tor clients. So in the sense of using privacy, not only do they have completely functioning tech, but they use centric networks such as Tor, like I was talking about before, and I2P, as we were talking about as well, the Invisible Internet Project. And they have so many features on here that I really recommend you dive into. I've done a video on Verge as well, so you can go check them out. But I love their roadmap, and one of the biggest selling points that I love, kind of outside of privacy, is that they're implementing a Discord payment and tipping system on the platform. As you all know, Discord has become a very big voice chat software. And I think that that is going to be a very big adoption case for Verge. People are going to start using that. But for now, I love the sense that they use multiple levels of anonymity in the sense of transactions and ultra fast transactions as well. They have very fast transactions that can only take around 5 seconds to make. So very, very big selling point. And I think that all these things combined, along with the massive community, I want to scroll down here, really emphasize the massive community that contributes to the team here, or sorry, the project here for Verge, is just fantastic. It's very much based on a community sense. There's a lot of people here who are optimistic about privacy and really do care about the topic, and I think that that's important to have in the sense of a development team. So last but not least, we've got Dash, another cryptocurrency that recently has been mooning like crazy on its market cap, and has become, you know, one of the really the big digital payment solution options in the cryptocurrency space. However, also has a very unknown privacy aspect to it. I think a lot of people don't know that Dash actually has a pretty good privacy aspect to it. So we can see that it has a very stellar valuation. If you're looking for a large cap investment, Dash is definitely one of those. It has a very solid valuation to it. The volume is there as well. It's definitely enough to where I'd feel safe investing and trading in it. And we can see that the circulating supply is definitely not exactly there in the sense of max supply. However, if it continues to you know, get as much adoption as it is right now, I think Dash is completely fine where it is, and I think it can continue to see growing valuation. So, technical standpoint, it looks fantastic, but I don't know if I would be buying at fresh highs, just keeping that out there. So maybe look for a pullback on it, in my opinion. So what exactly is Dash all about? Well, if you go to Dash's homepage, they won't give you too much detail on really the privacy aspect, but I wanted to go down, oops, sorry, I actually want to go up real quick. Basically speaking, if you learn about the wallet, inside the wallet, Dash has a very unique selling proposition in the sense of secure private transactions between apps on his wallet. One of the big things that it does is it allows having apps on the wallet itself, so you're not going to websites or other applications to utilize Dash. You can utilize it in the Dash Pay framework, the Dash Pay wallet, and you can go ahead to the apps and directly pay for things that leave you private and anonymous in the sense of payments. So whatever you buy through the apps, you can do anonymously. So I think that that's a very big spending, you know, privacy point in the sense of going out and spending your money through Dash. A very big selling point that I think a lot of people don't understand. But also as well, on a fundamental sense, Dash is just getting massively adopted. And it really is set on making private payments. So I think that that is a big selling point, and I think that you should keep an eye on Dash. They do a lot of marketing. They've had really well developed adoption over the past few years, and like I said, it's becoming one of the payment solutions that's kind of taking cryptocurrency towards the next level in the sense of mass adoption. So definitely look into Dash. I think it's interesting, and I'd like to do a full analysis on Dash in the future, but haven't gotten around to that just yet. But definitely a big unique selling proposition in the sense of how well adopted it is. So anyways, that's it, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I think these 5 coins are probably the best candidates in the sense of privacy and anonymity, but I'd like to hear what you all think down below. Did I miss a coin that you all think is really good? If so, leave a reason why you think it's the best coin in the comments down below. Get a discussion going. I want to talk to you all about it. But until then, everyone, I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.